Hi everybody, Alex Deployer from Expert Forex. Sorry for the slightly late start. I see there's still some people coming into the room, so that's been fortunate, and there's still people coming in, so it's a good thing I started just a little bit late. Welcome to the last webinar of this week, and let's go and have a look at what's happening in the market at the moment. And I always like looking at the 360-degree indicator, and especially the RSI one, which gives me an idea of which currencies are moving and which ones are not. Now, the ones that are moving are the ones that go overbought or oversold. And I look at the 4-hour and mainly the one day time frames to get an idea of which currencies are moving quite strongly. And the colors help quite a lot. And I better share this with you, otherwise you won't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's the 360-degree indicator, and the colors that I use, or that the indicator, and you can actually set these colors on the indicator, help me to see them very quickly. So what it's saying at the moment, that on the 4-hour, most of the currencies are actually not that active. You can see they're not overbought or they're not oversold. So that's quite an interesting situation. In the short term, the market is quiet. But on a daily basis, you can see that the CAD has done a trend, the Euro Yen has done a trend, and the Pound New Zealand is very oversold, and the Pound CAD is oversold. So we're going to have a look at some of those charts as we go through the analysis for today. So, but in the short term, nothing much happening. There's almost seems to be a consolidation happening in the short term, although there are some quite strong overbought environments in the daily chart. Okay, so as normal, if you do have any questions, comments, or remarks, please send them through using the chat facility. Okay, and let's have a look at what's happened overall in the market in terms of which currencies are strengthening and which ones are weakening. And we can see here that the pound, and I'm looking at the daily figures here, the pound has lost a lot of value compared to its trading partners, as well as the Oz. The Oz and the pound are the losers at the moment, and the gainers are the Euro and the USD are the main gainers. So the pound, we should see the pound going down compared to its trading partners, and the Oz at the same time. Interesting, because the pound and the euro normally trade together, or all of those normally trade together. So it looks like it'll be interesting to see what the charts say. So let's go and have a look at the charts. So I'm going to go straight to the 4-hour charts. And here they are. So let's have a look at the pound. Yeah, there's the downward movement that's shown on the pound. And the other one was the Oz, and again a big downward movement on the Oz. So they're very similar. If you actually look at these charts, and let's just equalize them a bit. If you look at the charts, they look very similar. They've got the same mound, the same shape, although they're completely different, and they're quite different to the Euro USD, quite different, and that's quite interesting. So let's have a look at the Euro USD, because I've identified a trade here on this one, and what I like doing is I like decreasing the size of the chart just like that, and then I can see support and resistance a lot clearer. And here you can see this line has acted as resistance, it acted as support quite a lot. There it acted as resistance, took a while to break through. There it was resistance. There it was a resistance again. So it makes sense that this is a resistance area. The price has double topped. See this, it's actually two what we call tweezer tops. So there's the double top. that's a reversal signal. A double top like that is a reversal signal. And also it is bouncing against that resistance area that we're looking at. So this is a nice setup. We also have a nice divergence going down here, trend line violation. So this is setting up for a nice sell. So that certainly falls in line with the RSI trading signals that I certainly look for, and that is a typical setup. We've got a double top, we've got a bounce against resistance, we've got a trend line violation on the RSI, we've got a divergence. So all that is a great setup. That's one of the best setups for tonight that you can have a further look at. Let's have a look at it in a little bit more detail. It has been waving quite a bit, and yeah, certainly there seems to be some room. Here's another trend line. There's certainly a good 100 pips in or 80 pips in that particular move there. Okay, so that's that one. You'll see that the market is quite wavy. There's a way it's waving quite a lot, which is quite nice for RSI trading. We haven't the setups aren't that great, although the wavy nature. We've missed a few of these setups. And that's not a great setup. This is most probably the closest to a good setup, and I've also marked this as a potential trade. We've got a divergence. Again, I've gone back quite a bit, and you can see the bouncing area, the resistance area there. So this is a support area that we could be looking at here. And let's just increase it again to the normal size. And this one in particular, I would only trade if that trend line is violated, because the RSI, we spoke about this in the last webinar, is not a good indicator to use when the price is making new lows, and it has in fact made there's previous lows, and now it's made new lows, and you should always be trading it between a recent high and a recent low. And there's the most recent high. There's they couldn't call that a low yet, so we don't have a low that we can rely on here. So but certainly here's a good trade. It looks like one, but I'm saying this one in particular is a little bit more risky because it is making new lows. So you would wait for a trend line violation before you trade this one. Okay, let's move on. Let's see if there's anything else. I have marked the ones. Oops, no, daily. We don't want to go to 4 hour. We've just been. Oh, no, this is new. Okay, so then we also have the euro yen, which is making the same signal as the euro USD. This resistance area is not as clear as that one, but you can see bounce there, resistance, very bad candles in there, but you can see that's enough to tell you that certainly did play is a good level of support, and also it broke through and then went and retested the support, support. So it definitely does stand out as a good level of support. So again, we've got a level of resistance now. It was support over there, it's resistance here, it's come up, it's tried, and again we've got a double top type of formation forming there. It's trying to break out. There's the divergence, there's the trend line, and all we need to do is enter the deal. So that's another good trade. Again, you are selling the euro, so you can choose either to sell the euro USD or the euro yen. Okay, and I had a look at the other RSIs. No classical setups here, but untidy. This could possibly be a trade. If you look, let's look at this one in a little bit more detail. Just want to see if that's a level. Oh yes, it is. Look there, it's bounced there. It's I can actually move that down. It's been resistance there, it's been resistance there, and it's been resistance. So it's actually making a double top at the moment. So that's pretty good. The other thing is it's making a divergence. These are the signals that I'm looking for, is a bounce against resistance or support, a divergence, and then I'm also looking for trend lines. Now, this particular trend line is too steep. It's way too steep. So what I'm saying is that wait for it to break through the 50 line before this trade is made. But certainly that looks like a good setup for a sell trade. But we'd have to wait for the 50 line crossover for that to happen. Okay, so that's an overview of the market. I like focusing on the 4-hour time frames. That's my key area. It gives you a good balanced view of the market. Also, it's the time frame that will give you the sort of 100 pip runs that are quite nice to trade. Okay, so we've got that one, and I think we've got the euro here, and we've got a potential one on the CAD, but you'd have to wait for this one too. This is a bit of a risky one. I'd say of the 4 that we've seen here, that one is the most risky. Okay, gold for long. Okay, now I don't really trade gold. We'll have to go and look for it. I don't think I've got it here. I'd have to pull it up. Let's have a look. I don't really trade gold, but we can do it. So I'll just open another chart over that. And we'll see the metals. There we are. Gold we've got, and we've got that, and I'll just put my template on here, the RSI ATR. Okay, so there's gold, and let's have a look. Are you saying long? I say short. Let's have a look at my immediate reaction is short, but let's have, and I'll show you why I'm saying that is a channel trade. A really great channel trade. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a with a trend bounce downwards. And also we've got an extreme overbought environment here. If you look, and again, I'm going to go way back into time. If you look at that level that has been achieved, it hasn't been achieved very often. And then what you've got to do, what I like doing, is I say, all right, well, if I think that's highly over, let's go and look at the last time it reached that level. Yeah, it turned around. You know, they're all turning around levels. That one was a severe start of a trend. That one didn't, interestingly enough. That one didn't. Yeah, that one did. Yeah, there was small. Sometimes it's only a small change, but sometimes it's a major change. So what I'm saying is that the chances here are pretty good for a turnaround. Now, while we're here, let's go and have a look at this in a little bit more detail. So what we're saying is there a chance that that is a support or resistance line? And it isn't really. There it is a support. There it is support. Oh, it's pretty close to being a support and resistance area. There's that's support. There's resistance. There's resistance. There's support. There's support. There's resistance, there's support there, definitely, and there's resistance there. So maybe that is a good area of resistance. So let's see what else we can say, how we can justify a short. So this is the 1 hour. Okay, let's do the 4 hour. The 4 hour. Oh, yes. I see what you mean. I'm still favoring a short here, but let's have a look. What you're saying is this line, not seeing a divergence. Can you see here? There's no divergence, so that's not supporting it very well. And we're also seeing the RSI battling to get to the other side. It can't get to the overbought, can't get to the overbought, can't get to the overbought, which is an indication that there is a lot of sell momentum in the market. My immediate thought here was was sell, quite honestly. I know this looks like one. The lack of a divergence is a worry for me. The fact that there's upper resistance is most probably a worry for me. There are a few things. Let's have a look. Come on, not taking. Boop, boop. Oh yeah, that's exactly the line. Okay, so there's no additional line that can be done. Look, this is a strong move, so it has to bounce pretty hard. Let's look at volume. Let's look at volume. Okay, so let's have a look. And this is the 4 hour. So high volume reversal, high volume trend, high volume reversal. I don't know. I don't know gold that well. I just want to see. That's 12 o'clock. That's 12 o'clock. That's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Okay, so the high volume comes in at 12 o'clock every day. You can see the volume coming in there. We could drill down to the 1 hour to get it more accurate. That's 1500, 1500, 1500. 1500. So 1500 is when the big volume comes into the gold market. Important to know that, because that's where you can see the high volume reverses the trend often. Not always, but it can reverse or stop a trend. There's a trend coming down, high volume stops a trend. Trend coming down, high volume sort of reverses it. Trend coming down, high volume reverse. You've got to think of it. You've got to think of it as a rocket in space. So the rocket will continue going down unless unless the rockets fire in the other direction. So this increased volume is the rocket firing in the other direction. It needs a huge effort to firstly stop its momentum, but secondly reverse it. So that's why you see these spikes in volume when there is a reversal. You see it's coming down, huge spike in volume to reverse it. So what I'm now looking for is I'm looking for a reversal spike, and I'm not finding one, but it's still early because the reversal spike comes in 3 hours time. You can see this is 12 o'clock. The reversal spike will come in 3 hours time. All right, so let's have a look. So, all right, so you said there's a daily pin. Let's have a look at the daily pin. Oh, there's the pin. That's actually the reversal pin. Oh, this reversal pin down there. Okay, so let's just increase the size. You're saying that's a reversal pin. Not bad, not bad. See, the other view here is that this could be the channel. See, there's the channel. So it goes doom, 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 doom. And the next bounce goes over here. So you see, there's different views of analyzing the market. I've just justified a sell, and I can also see a buy here. Now, no trade is 100% clear. I must say that pin bar over there is quite a good argument. I would say uh, I would say wait for another. Now, as you can see, I don't trade gold at all, but I did notice some. I did notice some pattern in the at 3 o'clock every day. Yeah, every day, 3 o'clock, somebody spends a lot of money on gold. So I would say wait for 3 o'clock, but there we go. You can see there's something going on there. Let's have a look. I'm looking at the daily. There is a divergence on with my broker on gold. Yes, the 4-hour I was just warning you, 4-hour candles can vary from broker to broker. They are very deceiving. Depends what the broker's server time is. And just to remind you, where you find the server time, you go to the market watch, and that tells you what the server time is. And then what you do is you type in here, you say Greenwich Mean Time now, and it says 11:20, and then you look here, it's 12:20. So the broker server is GMT +1, because GMT is 11, so 12 is +1, so it's GMT +1. That's how you tell your broker time. Okay, just and then some people, yeah, David, it sounds like you've got a different, and that is why the 4-hour candles differ. And that's why it makes it quite tricky. We've stopped giving 4-hour set files, because some of the indicators look totally different on the 4-hour charts. But as I say, I actually fancy a sell here, because of just what I'm seeing in terms of support and resistance. You see there, it's a channel bounce, but it's also now when vertical, non-horizontal, I should call it, non-horizontal support resistance, which is a channel, a trend line, and horizontal support and resistance come together like they do there. It's called a confluence. And what the effect is, that it's like a double wall. It's like two bricks to get through, and confluences normally create quite a strong support or resistance level. So I'm just doing raw financial and technical analysis here, and I've got no idea what's going on in the gold market. But certainly you should look at these the rhythm of the market. There's certainly a gold rhythm that's happening here. I spotted it very quickly, and you need to say, all right, look, maybe now's not the time to make major decisions. Time to make major decisions is at 1500 hours. You can see things change dramatically in 1500 hours. They let's see, trends stop at 1500, and they start at 1500. So you need to just be wary. And that I think there was a public holiday, a bank holiday that we just looked at. Okay, but certainly I would think twice about a buy in spite of that pin bar. You've got to balance the evidence. But thanks for raising that. That's a great controversial trade. The 1 hour is saying sell. The support resistance and the confluence here is saying sell. The daily chart, however, is saying potential buy, because you've got a pin bar and you've got a much bigger channel that's at play here. And so you have a conflicting, we've got conflicting signals, and you sometimes have to take a view of that. One of the views of that is that if you have too many conflicting signals, you just don't trade. Just don't trade. Or the other thing is that you believe the signal that has been the most trustworthy in the past. Like if you're a pin bar trader, you would say, oh no, there's the pin bar, I'm going to trade it. But I would certainly wait for another 2 or 3 hours before making the decision, because that's when the market, when the big boys come in and bomb the market, the gold market. Now, why would that be? Oh, that's New York, I think. Yeah, I think that's New York opening. So New York guys obviously are the gold traders, and the evidence is by the volume. I don't know where. Yeah, 1500. That's that's New York, I guess. So yeah. Okay, so thanks very much for that, David. Let's see what happens here. But yeah, I can see some change in momentum, but it's still too early. You know, if this was 1500, I would say definitely sell, because that's a strong signal. But it's still early. I wonder why the volume's so far down at the moment. This is Thursday, so that's Wednesday, that's Tuesday, and then Monday was a bank holiday in New York. That's why that volume was so far down. But there's no reason why. Hang on, isn't there a public holiday today? Bank holiday, Memorial Day or something? It's just, it's very bad. I normally look at these things first. Forex Factory news. I'll go there. We'll go for the calendar, and we see what's going on in America or wherever today. This is Thursday, and we see if there's any. Okay, there's no public holidays. This is where we're at the moment. So no, nothing too unusual there. There are quite a few USD, and obviously you're trading gold versus the USD. So it's not only gold that's going to determine whether it breaks through there. It's actually the USD, the strength of the US dollar, that might also influence this trade. Okay, that was very interesting. Okay, so I've identified 4 trades. You can go and have a look at them when you look at the recording, or hopefully you've made a note of the trades. Let's have a look at gold. Certainly on Monday when we have a look, I'll certainly have an interest in seeing if this was a turning point. As I say, the timing is not really great. If I saw this at 1500 hours, then I would say certainly sell. At the moment, we've got to wait another 3 hours before the real big guns will come in, and they'll decide what's going on, quite honestly, the big boys. Okay, so from me, Alex Boy, thank you very much for attendance. Thanks for those questions and observations. I see we had a nice full room today, and that was really interesting discussion. From me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.